What's up, guys? It's the Hoodie Ninja TCG here with one last trial deck opening for Vanguard G. Cardfight Vanguard G. This is the most hyped one, Awakening of the Interdimensional Dragon. Now, this obviously features the new clan Gear Chronicle, who are extremely weird because they have a lot of different abilities that work weird. Instead of retiring, they put cards on the bottom of the deck, which is supposed to be them sending things back in time. If you buy all that, then you would love this trial deck. But the main thing for me is this deck comes with a lot of... It's basically the best by itself. Like, you could buy one of these and immediately start playing and you'd be pretty decent. But, of course, if you buy two and watch the deck text that I'll be posting later about how good... if you buy two of them and smush them together, these decks become. So, to begin, we're going to open this up, and hopefully we're not going to get screwed over and not have trouble opening the plastic, but we're already there. Okay, we're done here. Yep, we're just ripping open the stuff. Okay, then. So we're going to open this one up and just screw the plastic because we're done here. So, once again, if this is your first deck tech with me, the starter decks come with a starter's guide, so you can learn how to play the game, and a play mat to basically tell you, hey, here's where these things are, here's where you put your cards, so you don't like, oh, what do I do? And once again, the play mat doubles as like a, hey, you didn't buy those other trial decks, sucks for you, nerd. And here we are. The Gear Chronicle one is the one that looks the worst to me, in my opinion, in terms of this playmat, but it's still pretty neat. It's better than the old ones by far. So we're gonna skillfully open this plastic. Haha! First try, totally. Just edit out the other ones. Oh, dang it! It's always this camera. It's this camera just like staring at me. He's like, "Oh, you're so bad at this." So first things first. We have Interdimensional Dragon Mystery Flare Dragon. Yes, he's a dragon. He's your stride unit, which the starter guide will tell you what stride is, and I may in a future video. He's the weirdest. When his attack hits, you can look at the top 4 cards of your deck. If they're all of different grades, so obviously it's 0, 1, 2, and 3, you get to Counterblast 4, which is really hefty for this thing because a bunch of other units use Counterblast. But if you do it, you take an extra turn. You just say, hey, I'm just going to draw, stand to draw again, and then attack. It's pretty cool and ridiculous, and especially if you have something like, oh, hey, here's Chronojet Dragon. Chronojet Dragon is a Generation Break 2 ability, much like all the other bosses have in the past trial decks. Not the past ones, just the past G trial decks. When this unit attacks a Vanguard, until the end of that battle, this unit gets plus 5,000 power, and your opponent cannot call grade 1 or greater cards from hand to Guardian Circle. That means they cannot guard with grade 1s or higher from their hand. Now, they can a special intercept, but that's not what this is trying to do. This is preventing your opponent from perfect guarding, which is pretty insane when you think about it. So, here's the thing for new players. Perfect guards are grade 1 cards that when you call into the Guardian Circle and discard a card, they completely nullify attacks. Like, just completely. So, if you can't do that, and Chronojet Dragon has 5,000 more power, you're going to have to guard for a lot more. But that's not the best part with Chronojet Dragon. Oh no! He can Counterblast 1 when you stride on top of him. You can choose one of your opponent's rear guards, and that opponent puts that unit on the bottom of his or her deck. It's pretty swell. Then the next one is the generic Counterblast 1. When this unit attacks, get plus 2,000 power. For Gear Chronicle, it's called Smithering Colossus. I really like the steampunky theme that these guys are going for. Here is Steam Knight Ubatututu. Don't question me about if I'm pronouncing that right or not. So he's at Generation Break 1. When this unit attacks a Vanguard, this unit gets plus 6,000 power until the end of that battle. just to compensate for it having 10,000 power. Counterblast 2, when it's placed on Vanguard Circle, you may pay the cost. If you do, choose one of your opponent's grade 2 or less rear guards, and that unit puts it at the bottom of her deck. His or her deck. Now, as I told you, this is getting a little crazy. I mean, like, they don't even retire things, they just put it at the bottom. In a future set, there will be a keyword called resistant, which basically says this unit cannot be retired. These guys get around that pretty well. This is Smoke Gear Dragon, which is your generic 10k beater at grade 2. This is Steam Fighter Amber, which I think is one of the best units that came out of this new thing. I would say I wish it wasn't Gear Chronicle, but if it was anywhere else, it'd be kind of broken. At Generation Break 1, you can Counterblast 1. When this unit attacks a Vanguard, if this unit is boosted, you may pay the cost. If you do, essentially send one of your opponent's units back in time. They choose one of their grade 2 or less rear guards, and they put it at the bottom of his or her deck. Yep. They have 3 cards that do that already. It's pretty insane. Twin Mazer Dragon is when you have Generation Break, so a face-up G unit anywhere. He gets plus 3,000 power when he attacks. It's pretty generic. Great Carapace Gear Turtle, when he intercepts, which is from the rear guard to the Guardian Circle, he gains plus 10,000 shield, so that goes up by 10. It's pretty... They've been in existence since the second set of Vanguard ever. So, Mazer Gear Dragon, your generic 8k grade 1. Brasswing Dragon is the attacker that if you have a G unit face up in your G zone or your Vanguard Circle, he gets plus 3,000 power. Steam Soldier Toj, whatever. He gets plus 6,000 power when he is attacked. And when I say 6,000, I mean 5,000, because that would be even more broken. Say you ride this guy on turn 1, and your opponent plays their grade 1, and if they're playing a ride chain, they attack you. They need at least 1 trigger to pass through, which is not fun for them. This is Steam Rider Burnham. When he boosts a Vanguard and you have a face-up G unit anywhere, at Generation Break, he gets plus 4,000 power. This is withdrawn Gear Raven. I explained Perfect Guards earlier in this video, and he's basically your Perfect Guard. Gunner Gear Draco Kid. He's at Generation Break 1. You can Counterblast 1 and put him into the Soul and search for another grade 3. Any grade 3. So, for example, if you wanted to ride Chronojet Dragon, but you rode Ubaru What's-His-Face, and you've strode this turn, you can get your Chronojet Dragon using Gunner Gear Draco Kid. However, what his main use is fueling Stride. Now, to do Stride, you have to discard the amount of cards from your hand that equal grade 3. So you can discard a 2 and a 1, a 3, 3 1s. In theory, you can discard a 3 and 3 zeros. But if you have just another grade 3, you don't have to worry about that. And he's just put him to the Soul, you get your grade 3. And then next turn, you're set up to Stride again. Now, we've got the triggers. Steam Battler Dedasig. We're going to pretend I said that right. Steam Knight Shusin, a draw trigger. Stomach Clock Gear Rabbit, a stay-on trigger. Steam Maiden Uluru, a heal trigger. And Lucky Pot Draco Kid, the shiny and not shiny draw trigger. So, this guy has Margol's ability, which is when you put this unit into the Soul, you choose one of your Gear Chronicle units, and it gets plus 3,000 power until end of turn. So, that is your Gear Chronicle deck. I think it's probably the best out of the box, out of the 4 trial decks. I still think there's plenty of room for improvement for it, especially with the new set coming out. So, if you want to watch deck techs of if you buy 2 of these, what that deck comes into, you should totally subscribe. And like the video if you did. And comment on what you want me to do next. Like, I could do the deck techs next, or maybe you saw this video and you're like, that new set he was talking about, maybe I think I want to see that more. Well, I'll do that. If I know you guys want to see it, then I'll do it. So as always, I'll see you people on the internet later.